Howdy folks, welcome to the brewery tasting day. The beer, honey wheat ale, brewed back in May. Brew day was the 25th of May. This fella's now been sitting for about five and a bit weeks, nearly 6 weeks. Since she was bottled. Straight from the pressure fermenter. Into the closest glass I've got to a Weizen glass at the moment. No, I do have a Weizen glass, but it's actually dirty. So here we are. This one doesn't look particularly clean. It's got a few bubbles on it. That'll cop some grief. Let's pretend they weren't there. Anyway, we're not here about glasses. We're here about the beer. If you want glasses, find yourself a glass site. Honey wheat ale. This is a fairly simple brew that I've done. It was what come about from drinking a Matilda Bay Redback. So what they now call a summer ale. Used to be a wheat beer back in the day. I don't know why they've changed it, but they did. Probably the new owners and whatnot down there. But anyway, so this was going something along those lines. So I'll put a link up the top here to the brew day, so you can go back and have a look at that. Before we get into it, big shout out to Little John's Patreons. Thank you guys for your support. Helps keep the channel going and helps me do experiments and things like that. If you've subscribed, thanks. If you're not, hit the subscribe button down the bottom there. And amongst all that, give me a thumbs up. So this fella, as I said, the recipe in the brew day is going to be up in the link. But just quickly, it was about 47% Voyager schooner malt, 43% Voyager wheat, and about 10% honey. Very, very simple, straightforward mash. 40 minutes at 65 degrees, 30 minutes at 75. I think brew day video that may have changed a little bit, but that's roughly where we're at. So middle of the road, simple mash, ferment. So we did 7 days at 18 degrees, 9 days at 22, and cold crash for 5 days at 1 degree. It was a 3-week ferment, and that was, I would imagine, because I went away probably the weekend it was probably due to be bottled, so I stretched out the whole process just a little bit longer than I would have normally, because it would have been well and truly finished. Yeah, she was, terminal gravity was 1008, which it hit on the 4th of June, which was 3 days after going into that 22 degree rest. So realistically this could have finished 4 or 5 days earlier than what it did. Ferment was with WLP 001, just American ale yeast, white labs, very close to USA 5 essentially. We're looking for a simple wheat beer without the wheat beer characteristics of using a wheat beer yeast. And again, this is all explained on the brew day. So we've taken it more on the American wheat ale direction with the yeast, but stuck with closer to the traditional, German style with the amount of wheat that's in there. American wheat ale, you'd probably normally only look at it, somewhere around 20% sort of wheat, not the close to 50% that we've actually got. But hot with SARS for bittering late in the boil. Then there was a bit of Citra and also some Galaxy also late in the boil. Nothing post-boil, nothing dry. She kept it fairly straightforward. IBUs were 21, original gravity 1041. She finished at 10:08 for ABV of 4.3%. So she finished up fairly clear. There's a little bit of cloudiness in that. This bottle's only been I've put in the freezer for about 20 minutes. I did a video the other day with a bottle that had been in the fridge for a few days, and it just didn't work out. So it wasn't usable. So I've just slipped this one in quickly, so it hasn't fully dropped out. But anyway. And the other day with a slightly nucleated glass, it kept a lovely head. And I said, this is not a great glass. I think it's bloody, honestly, I think it's from an Aldi bloody mixed beer set. So, it's got that fairly standard wheat beer nose, yeah, strong, tarty wheat nose up front. A little hint of bubblegum. Clean and fresh, light. There's a little bit of sweet malt there. There's some nice little tart edges. Starts sweet and the tart comes on. Then the fruit, little citrusy notes just sort of roll through with the hops, and then very last thing, there's this little touch of bubblegum at the very back. It just rolls through your mouth. It's really, it's quite different. You get that very American feel with a little bit of citrus and that there towards the end. Then that bubblegum comes on and you start going, oh, hang on, here comes the German twist. But it doesn't develop, where normally that would then become, bring up some, some pepper and some spice, from the from a Weizen yeast or from a wheat yeast. You don't get that. The bubblegum starts, then stops, and it finishes off. There's a little bit of lingering spice in the mouth when the mouth empties from the tartness of the wheat, but there's none of that phenolic presence that you certainly get in a German style wheat. So it lends itself to being quite fresh. It's very easy, very crushable. Crushable, it's not a word I use very often, but that's certainly, I think, a description that works really good for that. It would be very thirst quenching, which is what I think really essentially what crushable is. When you want to crush that beer into you, because you're thirsty and dry, and I think that's exactly what this beer would be really good at. I think it's going to come really into its place on a warm to hot summer's day. You just need to clear that palate out and wash the dust out, and that's going to do it really, really well. Look, I'm really happy with that. Really happy. That's a good beer. Got to say, right now, rolling with this, I've just in the last few beers, I've rolled a couple of really simple, easy beers for leading into summer. Probably a bit more than I would normally do, but that's tying in with the experiments, of a few different things. With the Atlas, with the Pilsner, with that, with Voyager-based malt trials, Matty Ursak's Hells, which stems from that video, the simple beer video. I'll put a link to that, which is sort of to some degree pushed towards this. But again, another beer that just sort of states that sometimes simple just works. You haven't got to do fancy stuff to get good beer. simple malt bill, simple mash, simple mash, and yeah, brew day. Yeah, and you get great beer. If you like your wheat beers, give this sort of thing a go. Whether you like your German wheat or even your American wheat, I think it's got enough there to work for both for those sort of camps. If you just like a nice fresh summer beer, give it a go. If you like the lighter side of pale ale, give it a go. If you like a simple smashable lager, give it a go. I think if you like any of those beers in that range, it's going to give you yeah, a happy result. I think it's a beer that would work good for having on tap for non-craft drinkers, for the mega swilling mates, for the non-home brew drinkers. Could certainly work as one of them beers to swing people from from the mega swill into the dark arts of home brew. We all know those people who I'm talking about, because it's non-threatening and easy to drink for non-crafty drinkers, but certainly for me got enough there to keep any beer drinker happy. So guys, that's a honey wheat ale. Definitely worth having a crack at. Get it in now, so she's ready for spring and summer as it starts to warm up. You get it in now, ready for spring, or leave it 6 weeks and get on and have it ready for early summer. But she's a good beer. So as always, any comments or any questions down the bottom. Catch your life. Again, thank you to all the supporters of the channel. Links and buttons are all down there at the bottom. But that's me, Little John. So till I see you again, we're brewing beer, drinking beer or talking beer. Good brewing.